Everyone, it's 4 o'clock, so I'd like to go ahead and bring the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission meeting for October 3rd to order. And what I'd like to do is start with a roll call, please.
Chair Becker.
Here.
Vice Chair Niger.
Here.
Commissioner Sherman, excused. Commissioner McCurdy.
Here.
Commissioner Armenian.
Here.
Commissioner Gebray, excused. Commissioner Aslan, excused. Commissioner Howard, excused. Commissioner Keller.
Present.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Martin.
Here.
Commissioner Zamora, excused. Commissioner Burgos, excused. Commissioner Cornwell.
Here.
Thank you, Chair. You have a quorum.
Thank you so much. And since I went out of order, I'm going to go ahead and read the top paragraph to start us before I ask for the next item. Items listed on this agenda may be taken out of order, presented. 2 or more agenda items for consideration may be combined, and any item on the agenda may be removed or related discussion may be delayed at any time. Backup material for this agenda may be obtained from Luann Holmes, City Clerk, the Office of City Clerk, 495 South Main Street, 2nd floor, or on the city's web page at lasvegasnevada.gov. And with that, I'd like to go ahead and are we in compliance with the open meeting law?
Yes, we are, Chair.
Thank you so much. So at this time, I would like to see if there's anyone here for public comment. Comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on this agenda for action. And if you wish to be heard, please come forward, give your name for the record, and the amount of discussion, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. Seeing no one here for public comment today, we're going to move right along to item number 4, for possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the regular meeting of September 5th, 2023. Would anybody like to make that motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion we approve the minutes as read prior to the board meeting.
Excellent. We have a motion, and I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? And the ayes have it. Item number 5, a report by the Department of Public Safety regarding issues at all city facilities and parks, all wards. Good to see you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Lieutenant John Guillen, City of Las Vegas Department of Public Safety. I'm here to present the September report. Okay, I'll start at the top with Ward 1. We had 15 arrests and citations for the whole ward, and our top 3 parks were Rotary Park, Betty Wilson Park, and Bob Baskin Park, series of park violations and warrants. All the way to the right, we had a total of 97 calls for service in Ward 1. Next, I'll move down to Ward 2, and we had 1 violation at Kellogg's Air Park, and that was a driving violation. We had a total of 52 Priority 1 calls for service for Ward 2. Next, I'll go to Ward 3, and we had Justice Levitt Park, East Las Vegas Family Park, and Gary Reese Freedom Park as our top 3 parks. For that ward, a series of park violations, lodging without consent, and warrants. A total of 169 Priority 1 calls for service for Ward 3. Next, I'll move on to Ward 4. And our top 3 parks were Majestic Park, Mountain Ridge Park, Durango Hills, YMCA. And from there, we had park violations and an outstanding warrant. A total of 49 calls for service for Ward 4. Next will be Ward 5. Our top 3 parks were Lorenzi Park, Kianga-Soka Park, and Ethel Pearson Park. And our violations were pretty consistent. Park violation, outstanding warrants, a total of 134 Priority 1 calls for service for Ward 5. Ward 6, the 3 violations for the parks that we had there were Sunny Springs Park, Centennial Hills Park, and Centennial Hills YMCA. And those involve park violations and trespassing at the YMCA. Total of 41 calls for service. from Ward 6, and a total of 541 calls for service across all 6 wards. I'll move on to our next page. Trailer cameras. Our deployment was at Centennial Hills Park in response to some extensive turf damage that occurred by vehicles driving onto the soccer fields. And our other camera was just recently deployed to Woodlawn Cemetery in response to multiple landscaping theft violations. And our final page is going to be our COP events that we had in September. We had one at East Las Vegas Community Center, and that was the El Grito Hispanic Heritage event. And on September 21st at Doolittle Senior Center, we had a senior fair. And those 2 of our marshals at the East Las Vegas Community Center. That concludes my report. Any questions? I'm happy to answer them.
Great. Chair Becker. Yeah, and before we do, just so you guys know, if we do have questions, and I've been a little lax on this, we always want to say our name and then the ward that we represent before we speak, and that helps us keep the audio files in correct order. I did have one just for everybody's general knowledge. What typically constitutes a park violation?
John Guillen, Department of Public Safety. Our park violations range from anything we have posted in the parks. We have signs that are posted strategically in all the parks, and those include park closures, mostly one of our top ones that we violate for. Anything during those closure hours of 11, typically 11 to 7. And then alcohol is the next big one that we do. You have to have a permit to consume alcohol or possess it in the park. Those usually are our top 2. Others less common are like flying, unmanned vehicles in the park, not using the fire pits properly, and then rounding it out, sometimes some lodging occurs in the park too.
Great, thank you. Do we have other questions?
Yes. Commissioner McCurdy, Ward 5. It's seeming to be that there's continuance issues at the Bertha Johnson Park. I know I started to call you guys on Sunday. These car clubs and stuff, they're consuming the park, taking over the park from the residents, and I'll say 3 to 8 at night, I smell marijuana all over the park. And I'm hoping that you all can start going by there on Saturdays and Sundays at La Bertha Johnson Park. I live there in Vegas Heights, and I consistently see that going on in that park because it is against the law to smoke pot in the public. Is that correct?
John Guillen, Department of Public Safety. That's correct, Commissioner. Smoking marijuana in public is a violation.
So if I can get somebody's direct number to call or somebody call, and the only way, when they see a uniformed car, I know that they will put it out, but if they see somebody in an unmarked car, or, I think we can kind of stop that because it's really getting bad over there again at night. So when they go to Doolittle, just keep increasing the patrol in the Bertha Johnson Park.
John Guillen, Department of Public Safety. Absolutely, Commissioner. I'll brief the squads to be on the lookout on Saturdays and Sundays for that kind of activity. We'll try to increase our presence in those areas.
Okay, thank you.
Great, I have the Vice Chair next.
Hey, Stephen Niger, Ward 4. A couple questions for you. Well, just one question, one comment. Majestic Park, any idea off the top of your head what in the world was going on there?
John Guillen, Department of Public Safety.
Park.
I'm sorry, Commissioner. I won't have that information, but I can have it to you for the next meeting.
No worries, no worries. It's usually there's usually 0 next to Majestic historically. That's why I was curious. The other comment was I did have a meeting with Councilwoman Alan Polanski and commented on the towers, the light towers that you guys have, and that they have been pretty effective. And I certainly asked for more money for them. So just wanted to let you know.
John Guillen, Public Safety. Thank you, Commissioner.
Do we have any other questions today? Great, thank you so much for coming down today and giving us that wonderful report, and we'll see you next month, right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 6 will be a report by Sandy Foley, Recreation Supervisor, and Adam Sequeiros, Recreation Coordinator regarding citywide sports unit updates, all wards. And you can correct me on my pronunciation there.
Good afternoon. I'm Sandy Foley. I am the supervisor over the municipal sports unit, and this is Adam Sequeiros. He is the recreation coordinator as well. And I did all the talking the last time, so I'm going to allow Adam to provide the report this afternoon. But I'm going to be his, sidekick if he has any questions or if you all have any concerns.
That's great. Thank you, Sandy. Yes, both pronunciations are allowed, so no worries there. Yes, Sandy, thank you for allowing me to speak today. Yes, that's far away from the microphone. So I'll go ahead and get started with the update for the LV City Sports Unit. We were able to add another recreation coordinator. Our LV City Sports Unit is built up of 2 different parts, allocations and tournaments, and also youth sports. So we brought on a recreation coordinator because our youth sports leagues are getting that big. So Prey Mavidi is our new recreation coordinator. Thanks to Sandy approving that, or helping approve that. Thank you, Sandy. And he also came up with a very good communication tool because we are getting so many different youth sports questions and comments. So we came up with an LV City Sports at LasVegasNevada.gov email specifically for our youth sports programs. So yeah, congratulations to Prey, and maybe next time Prey can come and give the presentation if Sandy wants him to speak. So I wanted to go ahead and, sorry, next slide. Sorry. So I wanted to start with our process improvements. So on the allocation side, we discovered that there was a lot of time and energy going into our light logs or the lighting for our fields. So we came up with a new improvement, new process, allowing our users to go ahead and program their own lights. After a couple different WebExes and a couple different one-on-one meetings, they are able to program their own lights now. So this saved a ton of staff time. We were dedicating probably 15 to 20 hours a week. Just reviewing light logs, making sure that their light logs matched up with their permitted time. So what we did was, instead of programming the 80 fields on our own, we actually put that on the users and we're able to educate them, and now they can go ahead and look at their 3 to 5 fields or 7 to 10 fields that they have and be able to program. And what we found was it was actually a more efficient way. Now we don't have lights that are just blanket programmed from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. It's actually 6:15 to maybe 10:45. So the users are out there and they're able to see, oh, our practices just ended, that game just ended. We're able to go ahead and cut that. So saves the city money, and it also saves the users money as well, because they pay for every minute those lights are on. So it's actually a very good process. We're still working through a couple different kinks. It was just implemented in September. So after a month, we were able to go ahead and audit it on the back end. And we're working through a couple discrepancies, but for the most part, it's been a valuable tool for our users and for us. So our other process improvement is very important. I mean, just like several of our departments across the city, we implemented DocuSign in the month of August, and just a great benefit to our customers. Very easy to sign, a simple email, hey, you need this document signed, or now you've completed the process, simple email back to them. It's really expedited the process all across the board. We're not waiting for somebody to sign a piece of paper on the desk and then it being walked over or transported over to another department or the next person to sign. So real simple process, and kudos to our team for implementing that and working through the difficulties with our customers and explaining it. And DocuSign is up and running, and it couldn't be a more efficient process for us, especially with the document storage and saving paper copies. It's been a lifesaver. So kudos to our staff once again for improving that process. Up next, we have going along with our permit process with our allocations. We have a couple new facilities coming on board, but the most recent one that you guys may have heard about is Arroyo Vista in Ward 3, and that grand opening is actually this Friday at 6 p.m. They're at Arroyo Vista, just next to Del A. Trobison Middle School. So another fantastic park that came on board. From our process, once a facility is opened, we don't obviously have a historical user there. So what we do is what's called a lottery process, and we allow all of our users to come in and actually send us an application, if you will. It's an add or change form, and if they're interested in programming a facility, they enter into our lottery process, and then we give about 2 to 3 weeks for them to show their interest in it, and then after that, we have a true lottery system where they're able to, like a live lottery, we throw their names in a hat, and they're able to come and see what they have. And going along with that, it's not just given out to an adult user or a youth user. We do follow our allocation priority process, which is obviously CLV programs first, and then any partnerships and MOUs that we have. And then from there we go nonprofit youth users, nonprofit adult, and so on and so forth. So we do follow, we've always follow our allocation policy when it comes to any new facilities coming on board. So we're super excited for Arroyo Vista. It's a different type of soccer facility. So we're excited for it, and I think there's actual horse park there and a playground as well. So it's a very unique facility. So we're excited about that. Also coming on board are a couple different pickleball facilities, and I hope I'm not stealing all of Steve Glimp's material, but you know, since we do program it from time to time, Steve, I thought we would speak on it a little bit. We do have new pickleball courts opening up, or have already opened at J.C. Levitt, and then we also have some new pickleball courts opening up in Centennial Hills as well. Initially, it'll be for open play and individual reservations, and then we'll add some league play as we see the interest out there. And moving on to a couple of our field closures. Normal closures, you guys may have experienced across all the wards, are fields that are down for overseed. This includes all of our natural grass facilities. Those will be back up at the end of October. But you guys may have received some concerns as far as, you know, limited field space. That's in regard to a lot of our grass fields being down for normal overseed and some possible maintenance repairs. Also, you know, there may have been some times where we close facilities due to the weather. Obviously, inclement weather causes us to assess the facilities and then close them as we see fit to protect the city's assets. And moving along and going along with that, it's been extra hard this year, or extra difficult to explain to users why we don't have a lot of these fields available to them, but we're replacing a lot of the synthetics as well at the same time. So obviously Ed Fountain 1 and 2, that was done earlier this year, back in February. And I mean, those Ed Fountain 1 and 2 are they're fantastic facilities. The field replacement that we had done out there, they did such a tremendous job. I believe that was Sprint Turf who did that. Thank you, Steve, for that confirmation. We just had Kellogg's Air 6 and 7 done as well. That was April, May-ish, and Sprint Turf did those as well. Completed a great job out there, and they just recently opened Kellogg's Air Fields 1 and 2 today. They just completed over the last 30 days, so that's open as of tonight. So Sprint Turf has done a fantastic job in replacing some of our fields, and they even had to come back out and replace Kellogg's Air 6 and 7 a little bit, make some touch-ups due to the very inclement weather we had. I think it was about a month ago, so that we all experienced, obviously. So future synthetic replacements, we're going to finish up at Kellogg's Air Fields 3 through 5. Hopefully in that January to February window. It will affect some of our normal local league play, and hopefully it won't affect too much of our tournament play out here. Also on the docket for replacement is All-American Park, fields 1 through 5. You'll see on the screen, All-American 1 and 2, probably December through January. And the reason why we had 1 and 2 go first, we're trying to, those fields are together, and we've had a lot of requests, for events during the Super Bowl. So we decided to make sure we at least got a couple of those fields just in case we have to put some events out there. And then All-American Park 3, 4, and 5, hopefully sometime, May through June. But we're jam-packed out there, especially with the local league play and some tournaments. But we wanted to make sure we didn't impact our youth out here, our youth and adult play as far as the locals go, as much as we possibly could. So also, Majestic Field 3, it didn't get replaced, but there were some significant improvements to this particular field. We deemed a couple months back that this would be a championship field. We did this because we had a lot of tournaments out there, and they were looking for something really to make it pop out there. So our parks guys, as well as us in different conversations, came up with an opportunity to highlight one of the fields and deem it as a championship field. So hopefully it'll attract more and more tournaments to come out, and they'll see the significant changes that went on out there at Field 3. And some of those changes included extra bleachers. They removed some screening so the visibility was better at the fields, and we also overseeded that particular field as well. Okay, now moving on to our other part of our LV City Sports Unit. Sandy, I think, provided you guys with, or I'm sorry, maybe Kim has provided you guys with our LV City Sports Annual League Calendar. If it's not in front of you right now, we'll get you guys a copy of that. A little bit hard to read, so if you guys want an electronic copy, we can certainly get you one of those. But just wanted to go over briefly all the different leagues that we offer, and these are all City of Las Vegas programs that are run by City of Las Vegas staff. So all of our adult leagues, which include softball, volleyball, basketball, and pickleball. The youth leagues, basketball, soccer, pickleball, indoor hockey, flag football, t-ball, baseball. So you see that the leagues that we offer annually, the adult leagues 20 and the youth leagues 17. This is not to say that we offer, I mean, it appears and it looks like from the numbers that we offer more adult opportunities than youth. It's just really a matter of the variations that we offer for the adults. So we actually individualize each of those so they count as their own league. So just wanted to clarify before we had any questions on that. So going along with our annual league calendar, just wanted to provide you guys some information about our leagues. And we thought it was a good opportunity to kind of tell our story a little bit. These are past leagues, the spring teams and the summer teams from 2022, 2023. So I wanted to highlight soccer because we had 73 teams in the spring and in the fall. So in the fall of 2022 and in the spring of 2023, we had 73 teams with 761 total participants. This fall, we just completed registration, and this is kudos to the entire city for doing their part. We had 620 kids, and that's about 62 teams, which is a very significant jump. And it is a complete team effort that we were able to go ahead and do that, and that's word of mouth from you guys as well. It really does take a complete team to make sure we grow these leagues and we grow them the right way. And really, we wanted to highlight soccer because it was just such a significant jump. So kudos to everybody involved in that. Also, our flag football leagues grew as well. And leading into our highlights for our youth sports, that's why I mentioned flag football. We had a middle school initiative probably about a year back. And, I'm sorry. Thank you, Sandy. That's why we brought you here. So leading into middle school flag football, or leading into the middle school sports initiative, we wanted to find a sport that everybody kind of was excited about. And obviously soccer is the go-to sport. But what we saw was, after talking with some CCSD employees and higher ups, that flag football was really taking off. But the issue was there were so many kids that were unable to play just because they only selected 20 kids, and a lot of these schools had 100 to 150 kids trying out for their team. So, you know, anywhere between 100 to 130 kids not able to play. So we really put our heads together. We were able to put together two things. Middle school flag football tournament was huge. It was only for CCSD schools, and the middle school tournament was for those who did make the team. And we had about 34 teams the first go around, in September of 2022. And that was boys and girls teams. And then we ran it again this September in 2023, and we had, I believe, 30 boys and girls team. I believe it was 15 boys and 15 girls teams. And what it led to was something that was truly a game changer for us, in that we were able to talk to some of these teachers and coaches from these schools, and we were able to get or create a middle school flag football division for the kids who didn't make the team, which was and we mirrored it just like if you made the middle school team. Your practices were after school, right at the school, or very close to at a city facility, and they were able to play or able to have practices and games. So that was truly a huge accomplishment for us. And in addition to, we couldn't have done it without our huge Raiders partnership, which has gone back now for about a year and a half. And the Raiders have provided everything from uniforms to free camps and clinics. They've even sponsored our Silver and Black West Side Schools League at Doolittle Park at Kianga Isoki Palacio Park at Doolittle. So the Raiders have been truly a godsend when we talk about that. They also put on a Raiders Fanatics Camp Day, which didn't include, this is what's so unique about them, it didn't include your regular football players. They took all of our camps, or offered it to all of our summer camps, and really got them involved and brought all of our summer camps in and hosted about, I think it was around 300 kids for a day, and gave them all types of fan gear and stuff like that. So it was unbelievable. And in addition, I talked about the various clinics. They do preseason clinics and in-season clinics, for the kids. They bring out players on their off days, from the NFL, and the kids are just, their eyes light up and they're super excited about it. So we're very grateful to have a partnership with them. They also provide game day opportunities where they provide free tickets for teams and or coaches, players, and this it has been an ongoing thing. And this goes across all the different wards. Every single time we get tickets, it's not just for one particular group of kids or adults or whatever. We really do spread it out. So if it wasn't for the Raiders, none of that would have been possible. So kudos to them, and we're very thankful for the partnership that we have with them. That pretty much concludes my presentation, my update. If you guys have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them, or I could bring Sandy up here and we could be here for a while.
I love the report. I really love what you guys are doing with the lighting. That's really innovative. It's really a great idea. I'll get to see how that works like later on this fall when it starts to get a little darker between my times. So we'll see how that goes. Commissioners, do we have some questions? Commissioner
McCurdy. This is a question because it seemed like that one of the Bowling area baseball team,
Bowling Little League? Yes, sir.
They're seeming to have some problems. They pay the city to rent the fields, am I correct?
That is correct.
And during their game time or their practice time, and maybe the marshals can help me with this too, that these mobile vendors that operate car washes, and I've seen them myself, they're down washing cars on the east end of the property where Bowling Little League area, operate. And even during the time when we had the kickoffs, I saw them down there, and the marshals seemed to give the citizens a hard time about parking, but then they allow mobile car washes to be down on that field, and these bowling area is paying for the use of the fields at that particular time. And I'm trying to find out, and if I remember correctly, there is a city ordinance in reference to vendors, period, being on city-owned property. Am I correct?
Yes, I believe so. I think the marshals would be more equipped to handle that question. But I do know when we do provide permits, they're not actually permitted for the parking lot area. That I think the marshals would be a better resource to answer that particular question.
Well, I like to direct this question while we still have a marshal here. What is the story on vendors, mobile vendors, especially car wash vendors? And I've seen them washing cars down there at Doolittle on the east end of the park where the block wall is. They be parked down there washing cars, and I know parents and people complain to me about why they can wash cars down here and we can't park to go to these Little League games.
John Guillen, Department of Public Safety. The vendors, to my knowledge, should have permits, and we could challenge them and ask them to produce a permit, and we'd probably have to do that to see if they actually are entitled to be in that space. I might have to look into it with code enforcement, because we usually go with them when they go to investigate car washes that are popping up citywide. But this may be something that I would probably do a joint effort with them.
Well, because this is a public park, I'm talking about actually on park, city-owned property. And I'm trying to figure out, I've never known that anybody could just go on city-owned property and operate a car wash, not unless they go into some staff member's particular area where they might have their car parked. I've noticed that, but not being in the park washing other people's cars.
John Guillen, Department of Public Safety. Yes, Commissioner, we would actually have to contact them, and we would ask them to produce a permit. If not, then they would be in violation.
Okay, so my last part of that, I'm going to ask, because I told Mario that I was going to bring this to the attention of this board today. So when baseball season starts again, or any recreation season, I'm hoping that you all will ask these people for their permit to be on city-owned property, conduct any type of business. Even some of those popsicle trucks are not really licensed. They just pull up there and they're doing their business on city-owned property.
John Guillen, Department of Public Safety. Yes, Commissioner, we'll look into that a little further to see these unlicensed businesses that are operating in the parks.
Thank you.
I have another question, Commissioner.
Hello, Commissioner Keller, Ward 3. It's nice to see the Raters partnership and all that comes from that. Do we have any other partnerships with like the Golden Knights, the Aces, and so on?
Yeah, we have plenty. In fact, I didn't touch base on one of our other youth sports highlights. That was, I guess it didn't make the cut. But we do have partnerships with the Golden Knights, with the LV Aces, with the Las Vegas Lights. Is that it, Sandy? Yeah, so, I mean, we have several different partnerships. We run several different camps, clinics, and those organizations are great as well. And actually, Commissioner McCurdy, we just ran a Logan Thompson from the Golden Knights came out and just ran a great event at our VGK ball hockey rink at Lorenzi Park, and it was fantastic. Yes. I mean, a little hot out there, but it was a great day for the kids. So.
Great. Any other questions? I actually have a couple. One question I had is on the Majestic Field, the championship field, number 3. I've seen a little bit of it. I don't know that I saw it completely to completion. I think it looks great. Has there been any thought to ways to make it easier for any coaches and or fans to mount their cameras, et cetera, because it is a net? I mean, is there any workarounds that they have that become something that they can work on?
So I think that is why we removed some of the netting, you know, for more visibility. But as far as the mounting of cameras and that sort of thing, we really haven't got into that discussion as far as like individuals mounting their own cameras. Is that? answer your question?
Yeah, it does, but that's the thought, I guess, to take back is this, I don't know what the solution is, but I do know that there's sometimes some of those people like to mount we're not generally on field 3 personally, so it's not a me question in that case. And then the other question I had was, this goes back months ago, and it might not fall within your preview or not, but since we were talking about like the nets and some of the maintenance replacements, there was some conversation about whether or not we could get sort of a public Wi-Fi set up at the parks, so that way teams and visiting teams can actually televise their games and have an easier time and easier access with that. And I think there was one park that was initially going to be a pilot program, but we haven't heard anything since. So I don't know if that's in your area, or I can always ask Mr. Glimp.
Yeah, but I believe that was part of our smart parks.
Sandy Foley. So there has been a great deal of discussion about doing that for the purpose of broadcasting out the games so that parents, grandparents, all of those types of folks, coaches alike, can actually stream the games going on. That has somewhat come to a halt at this juncture. We do have smart parks, but it's going more towards public safety, not as much for user enjoyment. But it is something that we are actively in the future looking at. We've just had a significant change of leadership over the last year, so that's kind of on pause right now. But we do know it's something that's important, and I think it will become forthcoming. So.
Hey, great, thank you so much. Hey, it was a really wonderful report. See, no other questions. Wonderful report today. That wasn't your first time giving a report, though.
No, Sandy let me say a few words the last time.
I saw you. She allowed that too?
Yeah. No, in all fairness, yeah, Sandy's fantastic, and under her leadership, we've been able to do so many great things, and as much as I give her a hard time, she's fantastic, and none of this would be possible without her. So, yes, I'm hoping to speak more and give more updates whenever you guys need. I think it's important as far as the communication back and forth. Like I said, it takes an entire team to continue the development of the programs, not just within the city, but all of our great partners across the city. So,
great.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys are doing a wonderful job. Thank you. All right, with the conclusion of that, I'd like to move to item number 7, which is a report by Steve Glimp, Parks Maintenance Manager, regarding park maintenance updates, all wards.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Steve Glimp, Manager of Parks and Grounds Maintenance and Parks, Recs, and Arts. I just got a project update for you real quick. Some of the completed projects we've done recently. Betty Wilson was our fall overseed. It's a big one. We had a little bumpy start. Our seed was late. We had some storms and such, but it all turned out well, and the overseed went great. Ward 2, Kellogg's Air Park, as Adam mentioned, we just finished fields 1 and 2. We'll be moving on to the remaining 3 fields after this. Ward 3, J.C. Levitt, I reported last month about the new pickleball courts, and we just finished the perimeter landscaping around it. Turned out really nice. Ward 4, Majestic Park, as we've been talking about, the Champion Field, some more improvements there. I think we're just about done with all the improvements, but we'll look into that, the ability to mount a camera and all that. So, and then Ward 5 at Historic Westside Legacy Park, we just completed a new shade structure over the playground that was much needed. And Ward 6 at Centennial Park, we finished installing the 4 remaining flower shades over the playground there. I got some photos for you. That's the overseed at Betty Wilson, just as it's getting its first cut. This is new fields at KZ. The new landscaping around the pickleball courts at Levitt. This is the bleachers at Majestic Field 3. We decided to make them a little just fancier looking and put up this block wall around them. And that's the shade structure at Historic Westside Legacy Park. And the last 4 butterflies, flowers at the playground at Centennial Hills. Some projects that we have in progress in Ward 1, Coleman Park is getting a new playground and trail. That should actually be done in the next couple weeks, so I should be able to report on that next month. Kellogg's there, we've been doing this in stages. We're finishing up the parking lot slurry and striping. Levitt, we're installing a new wrought iron fence along the south perimeter of the park because we're getting almost weekly calls about the chain link fence that's existing getting cut. So people are passing through. Ward 4 at Majestic Park will be getting a new 5 to 12 playground. Ward 5, Becker Tech, will be getting a new perimeter fence in the cul-de-sac to the southeast of the park and across the front of the park. And then in Ward 6, Centennial Hills will be getting new soccer fencing and bollards across the east side of the soccer field. As Lieutenant Guillen mentioned, we had some folks doing donuts on our field, so 2 or 3 weekends in a row, actually. So that should put a stop to that. Any questions on that report?
That's a great report. Questions, Commissioner McCurdy?
Steve, have you heard anything on the Historic Legacy Park? They never put the permanent plating for the inductees in that park yet. Do you know anything about that? Do I need to call someone else?
No, I don't know about that, but we can look into it and get you an answer.
Yeah, because the last 2 years, I know the year I was inducted, it's been a year and a half now, and the permanent, they had a problem with the vendor, and maybe I need to direct that to the director of Parks and Recreation, because they're supposed to have that completed, and they never have had it completed. Now we're into the third inductees. So I just wondered, because when I saw the work going on over there with the canopy, that's what made me come to my attention.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely check with our acting director, Maggie. She's over cultural affairs. She would know, and we'll get an answer to you.
Other questions? Yes, please.
Commissioner Cornwell, Mayor-elect, I just want to say thank you to you, Steve, for the crew and everybody at the Healing Garden the last couple weeks. We had our big events there over the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we had hundreds of people come up and tell me how beautiful the garden looked and thanking me. So I wanted to pass that on to you and your crew because it was absolutely stunning this year. The late rain helped because everything was in bloom, and it was just absolutely beautiful. Everybody loved the new paths, and we might have a few more little paths that we can put in to help with that, but thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Steve Glamp, Manager Parks and Grounds Maintenance. I appreciate that, Sue Ann. Thank you.
Great, Commissioner.
Thank you, Stephen Niger, Ward 4. Hi, Mr. Ford. Question for you about the synthetic lawns. I've been kind of going down rabbit holes because I've had some meetings with SNWA and all that, and I know surface temps can be very, very hot.
Yeah.
So how do you guys manage that? And
the new field at Arroyo Vista Park, we're using a different infill there. Unfortunately, these replacements that we've been doing, we had to get that bid out on the street pretty quickly, so those are getting crumb rubber just like a traditional field would. But as we construct new fields, we're exploring different infield products. We did that at Baker, we did that at East Las Vegas Family Park, and at Arroyo Vista. And they're definitely reduced surface temperatures.
Okay. So what? And I don't know if I'm, if you know about this or not. I had breakfast with the new conservation guy at SNWA yesterday, and he said one of the things that they've talked about with this turf is they keep the sprinklers in, and they will water it for a few minutes prior to an activity on the field because it is hot, and it does. Certain turfs will burn feet if your skin comes into contact, and he said they'll water it for a few minutes prior to, and then it with the infill, it evaporative cools the surface during the duration of the game. And I wanted to bring that to your attention in case you guys had talked about that before. And I don't know how dangerous surface temps get, but obviously if you, for example, you're watering a park before a soccer game, you know, what happens if a dog's walking across the grass? And because I think it's 50, 75 degrees hotter, right? I don't know if we need signs up on the gates saying caution, hot surface or something like that, but I figured it was worth the comment.
Yeah, I mean, I've read, Steve Glimp, Parks and Grounds Maintenance Manager, I've read studies on watering those fields as well, and there's kind of counter arguments to that in that you can raise the humidity on the field. If it's hot enough out, you raise the humidity so high that you've got kids dropping from heat stroke. Wow. Stuff, so.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Seeing no other questions, don't go far, Mr. Clint. Let's move to item number 8, report by Steve Glimp, Parks Maintenance Manager, regarding emerging issues related to activities of the Parks and Recreation Division, all wards.
All right, so you guys should all have this in front of you. It's basically a summary of what we do as a department. It's our annual department update. I encourage you to look through it. It's really well done. Our team did a great job on this, and if there's any questions, we can field those at the next meeting. And then I just wanted to give you a couple updates on our vacancies. As Steve mentioned at the last meeting, we did hire a deputy director. He will be starting October 23rd. That's Mr. Patrick O'Mara. The director position is still out for recruitment, and that closes on October 8th. And then I got a last-minute update for you from our adaptive team. I'm going to read you right off this email about a program they're getting started. City of Las Vegas Move United and the Bob Woodruff Foundation embark on a journey together to make Las Vegas home to the next wheelchair football team. After many conversations with Move United in collaboration with the Las Vegas Raiders, our application to become an expansion team was accepted. Since then, the team has been hard at work preparing for the season. The team consists of 18 players, which 6 of our players are vets. When the team travels, 14 players are eligible to travel. The season began with our first tournament being played in Chicago, Illinois, August 18th through 20th, where the team's first outing resulted in a 2-2 record. The team is looking forward to their next tournament that will take place September 30th through October 1st in Buffalo, New York. The Las Vegas team, in conjunction with Move United, will host a tournament in Las Vegas October 21st through 22nd at the Llama Lot in downtown Las Vegas. That's from Savante Manor, our rec supervisor that's over aquatics and adaptive. And then I have Steve Ford wanted me to remind you that the CIP call for projects is coming up, and if you could reach out and talk to your elected folks about potential project suggestions you might see in the parks, that'd be greatly appreciated. That's about all I have. Do you have any other questions?
Great. Any commissioners with other questions? Seeing none?
Chair Becker?
Oh, yes. Commissioner?
This is Lisa Sherman, the commissioner via phone, and I did just want to say congratulations to the City of Las Vegas for Lorenzi Park earning the 2023 Outstanding Tennis Facility Award from the United States Tennis Association. That's a real feather in our cap, as that's a national honor recognized at the U.S. Open.
Well, that's excellent. Thank you for sharing that, Commissioner Sherman. I really appreciate that, because I don't think a lot of us were aware of that. And Mr. Glimp, thank you for your report today. Just an excellent job as always. And I'd like to go ahead and move to item number 9, seeing no questions. This portion of the agenda is our citizens' participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the... Oh, wait, let me backtrack. Item number 9, because I did not hit that. A report by commission members regarding park issues and events within their respective council wards, all wards at large. And we're running closer to our time limit, so let's be either quick or brief. Okay.
I'll make this quick. Commissioner Keller, Ward 3, 2 events this upcoming month. The first one being Friday, October 6th from 6 to 9 at it's the Royal Vista Park opening. Hope to see you there. And the second is the Art in the Park. It's a family movie night, Saturday, October 14th from 2 to 6 at Huntridge Circle Park, which is closed but will be open for this event. Hope to see you all there.
Thank you. Do you want to say anything about the October 1st? No? Okay. Great. I have a couple items from Ward 4. On October 14th, Councilwoman Victoria Seaman will host a pet adoption fair from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Bruce Trent Park. That's 8851 Vegas Drive. There'll be food, raffles, animal supply, and service vendors. And October 21st, the Councilwoman Victoria Seaman will host a breakfast buzz from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Veterans Memorial Community Center at 101 North Pavilion Center Drive. Those wishing to attend should RSVP to Ward 2 at vegasnevada.gov. And also on October 21st, Bruce Trent Park will host a movie in the park playing The Addams Family from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. If the event is free and open to the public, and I think this is a good time for Bruce. I think it's the first time that Bruce Trent hosted a movie night, and it's probably a good choice given that it's like 10 days from Halloween. I think The Addams Family is good stuff. And that's what I have for my ward. Any others today? Okay. Seeing none, I do have something for this particular item, but we'll move to item number 10, citizens' participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the Commission. No subject may be acted upon by the Commission unless that subject is on the agenda and scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come forward and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion of any single subject as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. Seeing no one here for public comment, I do have one thing that I'd like to share with the Commission. Thanks in part to the hard work of Commissioner Armenian and our staff. We are looking to do a tree memorial for Malcolm White toward the end of March. Is the date that we have. I'm not going to give you the specific date today. We'll give you a specific date later. There was, I think, one more question about that particular day, because it is a Thursday, that we were thinking of, so we might end up kicking that a little closer to the weekend to make it easier on the family, but we haven't talked about that yet. But that's kind of where we are, so just kind of in your mind, kind of pencil that day off to see if you can make it so that we can all be there with the family. Which part? Commissioner Armenian?
I'll get back to you. Let me check my TBD.
Yeah, we actually have a park, and they picked it, and we've also picked an actual location of where the tree will be. Let us bring it to the next meeting. I just didn't have that up on my notes today. I just had the date. Okay? Great, thank you. And seeing no other public comment today, we can move to item number 11, which is adjournment. And I officially call this meeting adjourned. Thank you all. Section